Hello, everybody. Hello. Let me fix my microphone here. Oh, Merry Christmas early. It's okay. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Oh, Rum Boys, welcome in. Welcome in, my friends. Wow, it's so great to see everybody joining me here on a Thursday. What's up, Rum Boys? Hello, Arsenal. How are you? So this is one of my favorite artists. This is Zayd Wolf, everybody. Zayd Wolf. Go download his music. He's unbelievable. All right. I do. I could listen to Zayd Wolf all day and all night. I love all of his music. So welcome in, everybody. I know this is a little strange because I'm broadcasting on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday or Friday. I am super festive. I am. I've got my holiday shirt on. I've got a couple holiday t-shirts. It's just too damn hot to wear anything other than t-shirts right now in Florida. It was like 80 degrees today, and it's been raining all day, which is good because that means it's going to cool off. And I have an ugly sweater party this Saturday, and if it's hot again like it was last year, no thank you. Chris Joel Smith, Higbee or Andrews in non-PPR? That is a tough one. Mark Andrews has been a big question mark for a lot of people. That's a really good question. I'm actually facing a similar situation with Mark Andrews. I have him in two leagues. One league I have Hunter Henry that I'm able to pivot to, and another league I have George Kittle, which I'm able to pivot to. This is going to be entirely up to whether or not Gerald Everett plays. If Gerald Everett plays, then I would... Oh, gosh, but you can't because Mark Andrews is playing tonight. That is so hard. My goodness. Oh my gosh. What do you guys think he should do? Here's the deal. Mark Andrews is so incredibly risky because he's injured, but we have, especially myself, we have seen him play injured in bad matchups and ball out. So there's always that fear that if you sit him, you are missing out on some massive amounts of points. And it's the playoffs. I mean, every single player counts. But the problem is Nick Boyle and even Hayden Hurst, who's done pretty much nothing this entire year, they stepped in admirably to fill in for Mark Andrews. Each of them scored a touchdown in last week's game. They can pivot away from Mark Andrews very easily, and he's one of their star receivers at the tight end position. So the fact that he is playing is very odd to me. It might be like a decoy type of situation. I don't like it. I don't like playing Mark Andrews. I also don't like sitting Mark Andrews. It's awful. I absolutely despise it, but I would say to err on the side of caution and sit Mark Andrews for Tyler Higbee. But the problem is that if Gerald Everett plays, that downgrades... did I say that right? I think I did. If Gerald Everett plays, that downgrades Tyler Higbee. He has been doing really well, though, so it's not like they're going to completely pivot away from him, I think. I don't know. That's really tough. Why don't you scour the waiver wire and see if there are any other tight ends that are available, and let me know. Let me know. But I don't know. That's just so hard. That is just an incredibly hard question. If I were you, I would take the gamble and start Tyler Higbee over Mark Andrews to be safe. If you really don't feel comfortable doing that, I don't hate starting Mark Andrews. I really don't. It just is terrifying. So understand that probably you're going to be upset watching this game no matter what. So let me just down here. So you could pivot to Jack Doyle or Ian Thomas. That's a good one. Okay. So I think that Jack Doyle is going to be the safest. That would be an ideal pivot if you are really scared about playing Mark Andrews. But again, this is going to be up to you. Are you going to be okay sitting Mark Andrews and watching him score a touchdown in the hopes that another tight end can fulfill that role? Or are you going to feel better starting him with the opportunity that he can score a touchdown than they, sit him to get him rest? or he doesn't score a touchdown and only gets you 2 to 5 points. Which one do you feel better living with is what that question is going to boil down to, Chris. I hope that helped. I know that wasn't a very definite answer for you, but there you go. So Rum Boys, Thielen still worries me. He's had a lot of time to rest. I know. Yeah. The Adam Thielen, that's worrisome. Definitely worrisome. And then Robbie Anderson versus Baltimore or Golden Tate versus Miami. I like Robbie Anderson tonight for the upside. I think that the Jets are going to be throwing it deep a lot because they're going to be behind. Robbie Anderson is caught on fire like he usually does when it's the end of the season in playoff time. It's classic Robbie Anderson. We basically saw Golden Tate disappear with Eli Manning. I don't know how that chemistry is going to progress with another week of practice. But for the upside, I would take Robbie Anderson. I like that call because Eli Manning has a lot of rapport with Sterling Shepard. So I think that might be a big target. And he also started building some chemistry with Darius Slayton, as we saw in last week's game as well. Sorry, I've been missing a whole bunch of these questions, guys. So if I do, just keep asking them. You're not going to annoy me at all. Let me go back here. So Douglas, Michelle Pascal or Curtis Samuel for the flex, half PPR. I am digging Zach Pascal. I would stay away from Sony Michel. You can't trust him. Literally, you cannot trust the man. And I think this is going to be a James White game. Anyway, he may accidentally fall into the end zone. That is definitely a possibility, but I'm not going to bank on it. T.Y. Hilton is still a question mark. If T.Y. Hilton plays, that's even better news for Zach Pascal because he is going to be drawing away coverage from him. And Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore's really that guy. Is DJ Moore hurt? Did I miss something? Because I'm getting a lot of Curtis Samuel questions. Someone let me know if DJ Moore's hurt because I can't remember. And there have been so many freaking injuries that it goes in one ear and out the other at this point. So for me, I would go Zach Pascal there, Douglas. And Chris Molina, how are you doing? Expects to attempt to play. LOL. I wish you would just take the day off. Are you talking about Mark Andrews? Because that sucks. That really sucks. The more I think about it, the more I would pivot away from Mark Andrews. I really would, just to be on the safe side. If you could get the thing with Ian Thomas, though, because I remember the other guy asked me that question. If Greg Olsen plays, he's going to be getting all the looks. So that's another question mark. We don't know who's going to be the tight end starting. It's going to be Ian Thomas. Then by all means, pivot to him. Is it going to be Greg Olsen? We just don't know. That stinks. It's a really, really hard week for tight ends, especially our big one, Mark Andrews. And okay, so that was Mark Andrews expects to attempt to play. Okay, that actually makes me feel a lot better, Chris, because now I'm just feeling way more confident moving away from him. All right, let's see. Tannehill, I do like Tannehill, man. My husband played Tannehill last week. I made bonehead decisions. I didn't double check my lineup before the day started because I was doing a whole bunch of other things, helping other people, and this is not a knock on you guys because I love doing that, but I did not remind myself to sit down and reset my lineup, which I hadn't looked at since like Wednesday. I left a lot of points on my bench. A lot of points on my bench, and my husband kicked my ass. So I'm out of the playoffs now because of my own bonehead decisions. Oh well, it happens. And, oh, yep, you know what, Rum Boys, Kamara is. I know, I hate Kamara too. Oh, hi, He-Man, just checking in to say hi. How you doing, buddy? And, let's see if I missed any. Okay, so the thing with Alvin Kamara, I'm in a league where it's a redraft, 12-man redraft. I was talking with the Rum Boys about this. You guys, if you don't follow the Rum Boys or watch any of their videos, please do so. It's Rum Boys. Great follow, great people. And I did not let him win. Okay, I did not let my husband win. I was so frigging mad. I didn't even talk to him for like 5 hours. And it wasn't even his fault. It was my fault. My own fault entirely for being a bonehead. And then, Rum Boys, your wife is out of the playoffs because Jacobs, oh my God, I know. What a mess. What a mess. I pivoted away from him at the very last minute to Benny Snell. That didn't help me at all. Ugh. But anyway, I have a team that's got Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara, George Kittle, and Mark Andrews. And you'd think that I should be undefeated, I should say. No, I did have a first round bye. I got very lucky, made some good trades to shore up my other positions. But yeah, it's been a very weird year for Kamara. It sucks. Hopefully this will be his bust out game. And then we'll start feeling a little bit better about Alvin Kamara. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. If you do not know who I am, and I'm just simply rambling on about fantasy football, my name is Lauren. You can find me on social media. Sorry, my trees are in the way. At Stepmom Lauren. My website is stepmomlauren.com. I am a writer for The Fantasy Footballers. So Andy, Mike, and Jason from The Fantasy Footballers, their podcast. Please download it, listen to it, interact with them. They're really good people. Hilarious. But I'm one of their 12 writers, and that's what I do. I love fantasy football. It's one of my, favorite hobbies, if you will. If you want to call it a hobby, it's more like an obsession. Let's be honest. Oh, thank you. You're my family too, Run Boys. I really appreciate it. I also write a Thursday night preview article for fakepigskin.com, and that is actually out already. So if you follow me on Twitter, that's already out. If you don't follow me on Twitter, please do so. Stepmom Lauren, come find me. I love talking with y'all. But yeah, I kind of break down tonight's game and what I think is going to happen. So I'm going to briefly touch on that now. And since I'm not going to have time to go live tomorrow, I'm also going to combine tomorrow's show into this one. So it's going to be a little bit longer than usual. But still keep asking me questions, guys. And if I miss it during the show, feel free to message me on Twitter or tweet me, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. And if I don't know the answer, I will retweet it and let other fantasy experts help you out. So that's what we're here for, is to get you guys to the championships and then ultimately to win. Because heck yeah. In fact, let me just give you guys an idea. I'm in 7 leagues. I'm in the playoffs. Well, was in the playoffs in 3. Now it's only 2. And I had a guy message me just recently on Instagram, and he had told me he just wanted to say thank you for the preseason heads up on Lamar Jackson. He said that he's now in his championship because of that, and he just wanted to reach out and say thanks. And that made my day. It made me feel so good. It was like, that is, first of all, just taking the time out to say thank you was wonderful. And then to give me credit for telling him that, which the news I get is from other fantasy experts too, but it was just so nice, and I love that. This is why I do what I do, is I love helping you guys, and I just want all of you to win. That would be so great. So great. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into Thursday night's game. I know, I love those messages, Run Boys. They always make you feel so good. So week 15, guys, this is not an overthink it issue, except for Mark Andrews. And thank you for Chris Molina for pointing out that he expects to attempt to play. Now I'm just meh. I'm off. And if he scores a touchdown on my bench, so be it. I made the safer choice by pivoting away. If that helps the guy that asked me the question earlier, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Yeah. For the, like I said before, for the Jets, I really like Robbie Anderson because he's risky, for sure, but his upside and his ceiling are really high. Sam Darnold is connecting with him, and they're going to need to throw because they're going to be behind the Ravens. I mean, that's not even a question. Le'Veon Bell, that one's kind of a no-brainer. I was surprised there wasn't, like, disciplinary action or something with his bowling escapades. I don't know. That was just weird. And I have that in my article too. But yeah, if he's active, which I assume he is, Le'Veon Bell, you got to start him. So, all right. Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't start anybody else for the Jets. No one. Not Sam Darnold, not Jamison Crowder. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And then for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, that's easy peasy. I would definitely start Lamar Jackson. Mark Ingram, for some reason I had thought I heard he was injured. I either made that up or misheard something. So yeah, I like Mark Ingram in this too. Gus Edwards actually has a shot to get pretty involved in this game. That might be more for... Am I a coach? Let's see. Duck, duck, goose. Am I a coach? No. Technically. I'm a fantasy coach. If that's what you want to call me. I'm a fantasy football analyst. I get paid to talk about fantasy football and write about it. It's pretty unbelievable. But Gus Edwards has a chance to get involved in this game if they limit Mark Ingram because they have such a huge lead. So the Gus bus could end up jumping in and taking over some of those later round snaps. That might be more for DFS than necessarily for this matchup. But just something to keep in mind. So if you're the Mark Ingram owner, temper your expectations. He should do well, but he may not be a blow out of the water, but I would still start him. You're obviously going to be starting the Baltimore defense. That's not even a question. So they're probably going to eat Sam Darnold alive, which is fantastic. So this weekend coming up, we've got some running back starts, and there are a lot of question marks surrounding a lot of guys because of injuries from last week. And okay, so Berserker, Coach Lauren, pray for Tannehill and AJ Brown combo. I'm in. I don't even think I will pray for you anyway because my husband is doing that exact same combo. So you'll be the beneficiary of that, but I love it. I love that stack. I've loved AJ Brown since the offseason. I'm so glad he's in fuego under Ryan Tannehill. It's one of the greatest things that could happen to him. And he's a really cool kid. Seen a bunch of interviews with him. He's a nice guy. He's a great player. So that's an excellent stack. And I think you should I think you'll be very happy with it. Let's just hope that the regression for Tannehill does not come this weekend. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But I think that's a great play. I think that's a great play. Something about Darnold that ended up disappearing, so sorry about that. So guys, Rashad Penny is out, which is fantastic for Chris Carson owners. It's also like the death news for anyone playing against the Chris Carson owner. So that's a little scary. So Chris Carson is a number one deadlock start. Philip Lindsay, I end up really like Philip Lindsay against Kansas City as well. Just understand that Philip Lindsay has been really... I don't want to call him bust territory, even though I did write an article in the preseason that I thought he would be in bust territory. He's so incredibly talented and explosive, and yet has done very little. I feel like he should be doing more, but I still like him. He's still going to give you points, and his matchup is incredibly juicy. Same thing with Royce Freeman. I don't mind Royce Freeman either, especially if you're dealing with a ton of injuries from the season. So I do like that as well. Another one I don't like, but the matchup is there, are the running backs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I don't know. I really don't know what to do about this, because it could be Ronald Jones. It could be Peyton Barber. And you may have better options there. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't trust it. I don't know which one is going to be getting the volume, but I bring it up here because the matchup is darn good. It's against the 31st worst Lions. They're terrible against the run. So, yeah. And Rumboy says, if you start Singletary, I understand he's against a strong Steelers defense. Yes, I am downgrading Singletary a little bit. That is going to be a matchup that's hard for me to have a lot of faith in Singletary. I completely agree. And Peyton Barber is the king touchdown vulture. Exactly. And would you really start Peyton Barber over, like, David Montgomery or something? No, it's just... Oh, it's so frustrating, but I bring it up because the matchup is there. So do with that information as you will. Another confusing one here, guys. Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Washington. What are we going to do with the Oakland backfield? Because Josh Jacobs was cleared. So could he play the whole game? I don't know. If he doesn't play the whole game, here comes Washington. So this is another totally nerve-wracking situation, kind of like the Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison situation was, although Madison has actually sat out practice for the Vikings, which is interesting. So keep an eye on this, guys. Keep an eye on Josh Jacobs. I understand it's a 4:30 game, 4:25 game, so it really limits. If you have Josh Jacobs and Washington is available, I don't know how that's possible, but if he is, go pick him up. He is going to be a handcuff for Josh Jacobs, who is, you know, I don't know. I don't even know which direction he's trending, because he's hurt, then he's fine. He's hurt, then he's fine. I don't know. But James Conner. No. I have Josh Jacobs and James Conner. I'm not playing either one of them, because I have other options at the running back position, and I just don't trust either of them. Let's see here. What's next? David Montgomery. Like I said, David Montgomery has a really great matchup against Green Bay. I've actually heard several different experts say that they don't like David Montgomery in this matchup, and I'm not quite sure why. And the reason I bring that up is because didn't Jordan Howard have like 3 touchdowns against Green Bay in week 1? Or who was it? I can't remember. But one of the running backs like just torched Green Bay, I think. Now I've said that. Now I can't remember. I'll have to go look that up. But I don't mind David Montgomery at all, especially if you're in a situation where you need to play somebody because of injuries or because you're not sure of another player and you need to pivot. I like it. It was Howard. Okay, so what? Yeah, it was Howard. So I don't know. It was crazy. Like, they're really, really bad against running backs. So I don't know why people don't like David Montgomery this week. Who knows? And again, like I mentioned before, I really like James White in this matchup over Sony Michel, because he gets the PPR work. So if you're in your half PPR, full PPR, he's going to be a wonderful start. He's also been a very reliable target. I brought this up in a preseason article, actually, about running backs that you can rely on. James White was in there. Julian Edelman was in there, too. So you're starting Julian Edelman if you have him. Those are those 2 only guys from the Patriots that I like. Speaking of the Patriots, keep an eye on Tom Brady, elbow injury. I don't think he's going to have a very good game, but that's just me. And another one I'll bring up here is Miles Sanders going up against Washington. I don't know how much I love this, but you may be in a situation where you have to start him. This is a good matchup for him as any. It's against the 23rd worst Washington Redskins, so There is opportunity. These are must-win games, and Carson Wentz has lost his weapons. They're just dropping like flies, and someone has to catch the ball, and Miles Sanders can, and Jordan Howard is out. So, do I think Evan Engram plays? You know what's funny? Maybe that's who it was, because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, is Evan Engram? He's questionable, right? Because I believe he says he's going to try. There's a lot of those this weekend. And especially there's 2 at tight end. That's gross. I think he might give it a shot. I think he'll give it a shot. That doesn't give me any confidence. But, again, we're talking about Eli Manning here. I don't like that. Ask me that tomorrow or Saturday when I feel more comfortable giving you an answer. I don't know. Yeah, that's tough. Especially with Eli Manning because they used to play together. So I really would like that if he started. Anyway, let's move on to wide receivers, guys. Kenny Golladay, the only one who can catch the ball right now on the Lions. Marvin Jones is on IR. So is TJ Hawkinson, which really stinks. Am I right? I'm pretty sure TJ Hawkinson is on IR as well. But they're going up against Tampa, which is dead last in the league when it comes to fantasy points allowed for wide receivers. And David Blau has no one else to throw it to, basically. So I think Kenny Golladay, unfortunately, is probably going to, okay, yeah, all right, that's funny. Okay, so Berserk is playing against Evan Engram, and he dropped a lot of players to clear out tight ends that are available. Well played. I do that sometimes, too. People get mad at me when I do it, but it's fantasy defense. I don't mind that. And he is so smooth. Definitely the smooth routes of Kenny Golladay. He might get double, triple coverage, which stinks. So it's risky, but he has the best matchup for wide receivers. Another one that has really good matchup too here that I really, really, really like is Jarvis Landry. I know you guys are going to be starting him, but the other side of that is OBJ. I think this is going to be a good game for OBJ as well. I know that is like a stinky, gross, smelly fart in the wind, basically, with OBJ. But if you have him, this is one of the better matchups that he could have. It's the 31st worst Arizona Cardinals. They bleed fantasy points. So I don't mind starting Odell Beckham Jr. Just plug your nose and drink a lot. That's usually what I do to get through fantasy weekends. Anyway, and then speaking of injuries, we've got the Indianapolis Colts going up against the 30th worst against wide receivers, New Orleans Saints, which I got my little fleur-de-lis on today. T.Y. Hilton may or may not play. If he plays, that's really good news for Zach Pascal, which I mentioned earlier. If he doesn't play, that just means more targets for Zach Pascal. So I do like Zach Pascal as a starter. And Berserk says OBJ gets force-fed. They don't want to lose him. Yeah, I think that there's opportunity for him, especially the matchup is just too good. Did I say 30th best? 30th best, 30th worst, whatever. 30th best worst. I tried to make him feel a little bit better. And let's see. Ooh, yeah. So Zach Pascal, like we said. T.Y. Hilton, if you have the luxury of not having to start him, I would not start him. I don't like starting players the week they're back from injury unless you 100% absolutely have to. Okay, back to the Giants. Woo! Okay, so guys, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate are going up against the 29th best, worst, whatever, Miami Dolphins. This should be interesting. Like I said before, I think this is anyone's game, but one thing we can rely on is that Darius Slayton is going to be the downfield threat. I do like Darius Slayton. I like him better than I like Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard. But Sterling Shepard does have that rapport with Eli Manning, and if Evan Engram does not play, that kind of makes me lean towards Sterling Shepard again. If you have Golden Tate, it's a really good matchup, and hopefully this week of practice has maybe fixed the oopsie-whoopsie bad passes and drops from Golden Tate. That's what I'm hoping because I have Golden Tate. So if Engram plays, Shepard is the play. So do you mean if Engram doesn't play? Is that what you meant? I don't know. And let's see. Next is Scary Terry. I love Scary Terry because his last name sounds so much like my name. He's one of my faves. But he is going up against Philadelphia, and we saw was it Eli Manning? Anyway, we saw Philadelphia get torched. So I am not afraid of Terry McLaurin. It was Miami that torched them. Thank you. I am not afraid of Terry McLaurin at all. I like him. I'm playing him. I'm starting him. So Slayton will take a hit if Engram plays. That's a good observation. I disagree with it only because Darius Slayton is that big downfield threat. I think if Engram is back, that's actually more of a contradiction, or there's a word here I'm looking for, I can't think of off the top of my head, to Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard, because they kind of interact in the middle of the field. I think Darius Slayton has that big play under wraps. And then Red Hawk AP is going to run 100 times. Yeah, I know, but they're going to have to throw every once in a while, and he's their better pass catcher. So I wouldn't start Terry McLaurin over certain other people. So it's not just, you don't sit, a big name like OBJ for Terry McLaurin. Well, that's even a big name. You don't sit like Tyreek Hill for Terry McLaurin. That's not what I'm saying. But if you have to play him, he is in a really good matchup that I don't mind at all. And compliment, I think it was contradict, because they're all fighting for the same passes, because they're all in the middle of the field, whereas Darius Slayton is a little bit more deep field. But you guys knew what I meant. Laird season, maybe. Ugh, that whole Miami situation is really sad. Let's see, what is next? Oh, guys, keep an eye on Devontae Parker. He has not yet cleared concussion protocol. That does not mean he's not going to. Keep an eye on him. He's a definite start if he is a go. And that also means I would upgrade Ryan Fitzpatrick if Devontae Parker is available. So let's move on to our tight ends here. Gross. David Njoku is playing against Arizona. They did actually manage to guard a tight end, although that tight end was Vance McDonald, so that's really not saying much, even though I loved Vance McDonald coming into this season. Too bad that didn't pan out. He also did get hurt, but I still say if you guys are strapped for tight end, you could do worse than David Njoku. So if you guys remember, David Njoku did score a touchdown his very first game before he got injured. So the talent is there, his size is there, his speed is there. Let's just hope that Baker Mayfield can get back to targeting his tight end position, which if anyone remembers from college, his tight end was Mark Andrews. So he is really good at throwing to athletic tight ends. Let's hope this pays off in Arizona. And next, moving on, is Ian Thomas, like I mentioned before. If Greg Olsen, hang on just a minute, let me get back to that real quick. And then, let's see, Angie, you said, would I start Winston this week over Matty Ice with his thumb problems? For the upside, I might start Winston over Matt Ryan, but I don't like it. Actually, Andy Holloway just brought up a really good point about San Francisco allowing a ton of points recently to the quarterback position, and they also just lost Dee Ford, and they also lost Richard Sherman. So that is a very difficult question. Ask me that again on Saturday. Let me see how I feel about that. Because I would want to say Jameis Winston, but at the same time, they may pull him early. So, maybe I'm changing my mind on the fly. Maybe I would play Matt Ryan over Jameis Winston. I might do that. That's a really good call. It's a good pivot, too. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate that. And let's see. Noah Fant's another one. A lot of people don't like Noah Fant. I think he's a great start. Again, I wouldn't play him over other, higher ranked tight ends. But if you have him, I don't see a problem starting him if he's active. He has been dealing with a foot injury, I believe. Higbee. Let's see. Rocky Devereaux, Jimmy G over Winston. Yeah. I would play Jimmy Garoppolo over Jameis Winston. Yeah. I think so. What do you think, Angie? Jimmy G and Winston? I would go Jimmy G in that position. So, Noah Fant, my boy Drew Lock, man. I love that guy. I love him like that. So, hold on. Let me check something really quick. Now that I have y'all on here, because you know what I do a lot, I get teams confused, and you guys need to correct me if I don't, if I get them wrong. Let me look at something. Sorry for the delay, everybody. I appreciate you bearing with me here. Okay, yes. So they did set up. Did it? Okay, I'm trying to see if he practiced today, which I don't see here off the top of my head. Anyway, I like his chemistry with Drew Lock, so if he is active and he's a go, and you guys really need help at tight end, this matchup is really good against Kansas City, who has been really bad against the tight end position. Another one which is interesting, not a lot of people are talking about, sleeper alert here with Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham scored a touchdown against, let's see, Chicago. They're 25th worst against the tight end. So, yeah. I don't hate Jimmy Graham here, guys. If there are no tight ends available and you're looking, You have upside with Jimmy Graham and getting a touchdown. I know he has completely disappeared, but I would not be surprised if Jimmy Graham is involved and he gets a touchdown this weekend. So, Berserk would be Caden Smith if Engram is out. I wouldn't even target that. I would pivot away from that. I would go either one of the wide receivers that are available or stream with another player like an Ian Thomas. And the volume could be there. We don't know. We really don't, because again, there's a lot of mouths to feed in the middle of that position. And who are they? Let's see. Miami. I'm going to look at something. So they are playing Miami, Moons of Miami. Miami is actually 16th best against the tight end position. Just because it's Miami doesn't mean their defense completely sucks all around. At places they're mediocre. So I don't like the Caden Smith play. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I don't like it. I wouldn't pivot to Caden Smith. I would go somewhere else. And let's see, I just talked about Jimmy Graham. Ertz and Dallas Goedert. Like I said before, Carson Wentz doesn't have a lot of options to throw to, so I really like that, especially 24th worst, Washington Redskins. And Tyler Higbee. I do like Tyler Higbee a lot, especially if Gerald Everett misses again, which I hope he does. So, those are the end of my slides. I know it was a little bit more condensed than 2 regular-sized shows would be. But thank you all for listening, and I really appreciate it. Let me see if I can just spot any... Okay, so Chris Molina, you're in a league and you have Andrews and Fant. Ouch. Yeah, that's tough. Let me know which one you go with. And let me see, guys. Did I miss any questions here? I'm sure I did. So, Rum Boys, you may go live on YouTube to help with the overflow of questions. I see a lot of more questions than usual. And of course I missed them because they flow really fast. So you guys come back and ask me more questions. Ask me more questions. Hit me up on Twitter. You can ask them again here. Hooper or Doyle? Jack Doyle. That is a really good question. I do like Jack Doyle because I think he's a lot safer than some other tight ends that are available. Ooh. Man, I don't know. They're playing San Francisco. They're 5th best against tight end. Man, that is really tough. Let's see. I'm going to go to a start-sit tool to help give me a better idea of who it is I should tell you to start. Julio is the only other catcher, correct. Ridley is out. I do see your point there. Okay, let's see. That's standard. So just so you know, Fantasy Pros in Standard has Jack Doyle over Austin Hooper, 68% to 32%. Let's go ahead and see what that PPR is going to be. And guys, yeah, Bell for PPR. Yeah, hopefully. Can I please bend the tree down? There you go. Writer for the Fantasy Footballers. Stepmom Lauren. Oh, come on. So anyway, I think you might be safer going with Jack Doyle, if that helps you. But I do see the upside in Austin Hooper. Let me put it to you in that way. Safer Jack Doyle, upside Austin Hooper. And then, let's see, you have Travis Kelce play Waller over must start at flex. Oh, this is such a hard one. Okay, Mark, here's the deal. My very, very good friend, Adam Rank, is playing against my employers, the Fantasy Footballers, in Fantasy League 1 this weekend. And Rank has Colonel Mustard, also known as Raheem Mostert. And this should be a really, really good matchup for him, but this is a revenge game for Tevin Coleman. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I think I would still play Mostert over Waller. So Kelce at your tight end, Mostert in your flex. Unless you're having this weird gut feeling that Waller's going to explode, then I would go with Waller for you. But that's your call and what you are going to do. You make that decision that you feel the best starting. Always remember that, guys. Don't start or sit players just because fantasy experts tell you to do so. If you have a gut feeling that a player is going to do something, go with your gut. And your gut is actually telling you little bits of information that you have subconsciously soaked up throughout the week, that you've heard on podcasts, that you've seen on TV, and they are putting those connections together in your subconscious to tell you something. It may disagree with experts, it may sound crazy, but go with your gut. go, unless it's like absolutely stupid to start the person, then whatever. But go with your gut. And if you disagree with an expert, maybe dig around a little deeper as to why, because there may be something behind that. Always remember that. Then Marky said it's a toss-up. You'll decide on Sunday. I do that all the time, too. And then thank you, Chris Mel. I hope I give good advice. If not, just ignore me. I'm sorry, guys. So Coleman is unplayable at this point. Again, but it's Kyle Shanahan, man, and he pulls running back shenanigans. So you never know. This could be the resurgence of Tevin Coleman, revenge game, and suddenly he's a thing now, and everyone who started Mostert is all peeved. Oh, wait, that's happened before with Raheem Mostert. So that wouldn't be a surprise to me in the slightest. And then Hunt for floor. Yeah, that would make sense. And All right, Banfield 13, how you doing today, my friend? PPR flex, Andrews, Hunt, or A.J. Brown? I am going to go A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown this week. I also like Kareem Hunt. I would go A.J. Brown and forget about Mark Andrews this week. Just don't watch the game. If you guys have Mark Andrews and you're not playing him, or even if you are playing him, don't watch. I wouldn't. I'm not. I am. What am I saying? Of course I am. And how am I feeling about Connor Ball Blast? I'm terrible. My Ball Blast girls. Guys, another wonderful follow besides my Rum Boys are Kate and Michelle Majuk, the Ball Blast girls. And here is Michelle. She is found at Ball Blastum. And she is hilarious. Wonderful follow. She is very controversial in the best of ways. She is my boo. Say hello to Kate for me. I am so mad at James Conner. Whatever. I'm over it. I'm just over it. I'm not even playing him this week. And then Josh Allen or Carson Wentz. Chris Molina, I would go Carson Wentz here. I do not like Josh Allen against the Steelers. And I think that Carson Wentz could do a little bit better because of Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Zach Ertz. It's a tough one, though. Tough one. Play your boy. The second I put him in, Michelle, he's going to re-aggravate himself, fall over, and then not do anything. And then ravage my day. But you know what? In the league where I do have James Conner, I'm already out of the playoffs anyway because my husband kicked my ass last week. So you know what? Maybe I will play him. So Michelle wants everyone to trust James Conner. I don't. She does. You guys decide. You guys decide. I don't like Conner. If you can avoid him, I would. I'm sorry, Michelle. I love you. I love you so much. That's just my personal thing. If y'all disagree with me, you're probably right. In fact, you know what? Michelle is probably right. Let me put it this way. I am not excited about James Conner. I'm not excited about James Conner at all. He scares me to death. But I still might play him, especially if I have to with all of these injuries. So you guys, if you don't have any other questions, or even if you do, I'm going to wrap this up here and, let you guys do your thing. On a Thursday, I'm going to be cleaning my house and making charcuterie board supplies, food. Yeah, I'm going to put in all that stuff, put it all together. I'm having an ugly sweater party this Saturday. I will share some pictures. This is one of the little photo props that I have, my tree that's getting in the way of all of my stuff. So you guys can find me on Twitter. Thank you, Berserker, but I will. I'm leaving. I can't talk all night long, which I probably can, but you don't want to. Yeah. So, yes. What was I saying? I'm sure it was something important. Oh yeah, where to find me? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Stepmom Lauren. You can find my work at stepmomlauren.com. I do have my TNF preview on fakepigskin.com right now. That has also already been tweeted out on my Twitter handle. So, I hope you guys crush it this week. Tweet me at Stepmom Lauren if you have any questions, starts, and sits. I would love to help you out as much as I can. And if I don't know, I'll just retweet it and let the rest of the fantasy experts kind of come together. And then you can make that decision based on volume. So, yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And I will see you guys next week.